everyone. Welcome to our presentation. Thank you. Thank you. You know, animation is the best way to make a video game alive. Then we'll be talking about to work on a Rayman game and more specifically how the technology helped to keep pace with the artistic vision for the animation in a game. We will see how Rayman's world come to life.
So, hi, I'm Anais Dusautois. I'm animator on Rayman Origins and now on Rayman Legends. And I'm going to talk to you about the technical part of this presentation.
And I'm Christophe. I'm the artistic director of animation and car designer on Rayman Origin and Rayman Legend. I'm in charge of the artistic part.
So first, we will start with the spirit of the Ubisoft Montpellier studio and how that way of life influenced the spirit of the game. Then we're going to travel in time to go back to the origins of Rayman. And we'll see how the artists work with the UbiArt framework or technology. Then we're going to tell you the story of GenAnim, the UbiArt framework animation tool. And then we're going to finish, if we've got the time, with a small demonstration about that tool. Cool. Woohoo! I'm not stressed at all. Everything's fine. Can you see me? It's okay. Not small. I'm going to try to imagine you, all of you naked, and it's going to be better. So let's talk about the Ubisoft Montpellier studio spirit. We think that the ambience and the atmosphere at Montpellier studio contribute to our creative success. So we are working in a very pleasant context. We are in south of France. We've got the beach. It's a sunny place. Got mojitos, bikinis, and all that stuff. We design creative projects like From Dust, Beyond Good and Evil, Rabbits Go Home, Rayman Origins, Rayman Legends, of course. We surround ourselves with talented and passionate team. And I to the team, by the way. Team is made of really hard workers. They're working together in a very good team spirit, and they are really involved in the final quality of the project. And we also develop innovative tools, and I think that the fact that we are creating innovative tools together make us understand the constraint of the other's job. We had to leave our comfort zone and communicate a lot, and it's contribute to have a good team synergy. But for now, I invite you to discover the villa, the place that we work, with this small video of the team that I've made. It's homemade, so let's see that. Really look very happy. Thank you for them. They deserve that. Really, really. So now, let's back to the origins. To understand the art and the philosophy of Rayman, how we did the connection with Rayman Origins and Rayman Legends, let's jump to the past. So who's the character of Rayman? Rayman's character with no arms, no legs, and a really weird haircut, but yeah, it's but most of all, it's a very iconic silhouette. But who's the best place to speak about Rayman than his creator, Michel Ancel? So let's see a small interview about that.
My name is Michel Ancel, and I'm the creative director on Rayman Legend and Rayman Origin. The creation of Rayman was really, in fact, very simple, because it was something that I did when I was around 20 years old. And it was really the character I wanted to make, to experience the games I was creating. Rayman is, I would say, is a very simple and direct character. He's not talking, and it's really about action. And so he's really made all the animation and the design is made so that you can understand the character just by looking at it. It's not just storytelling and things like that. It's really a direct connection between you and the character. First, it was designed in pixels, and when you don't have a lot of pixels, you are forced to have very strong characteristic in your character. And I think it's even now in 3D, because sometimes the camera is far away, you still need a character that you can identify very easily. We started with 2D games, because a long time ago it was easier to do 2D games. And then we moved to 3D, and the games became more complex, interesting, but really different in terms of gaming, of gameplay, and from what we started with. Coming back in 2D is really a way to go back to the roots of video games.
Whew. Cool, that's my boss. So the question is, why to come back in 2D? Since the beginning of the industry, and particularly the advent of the 3D games, there has been a race to create more and more photorealistic games with more and more complicated controls and cameras. So we tried to back to the basic, keep simple controls, a legible game space, to come back to an affordable way to play together. We tried to make a game for the hardcore gamer, but also for the casual gamers, and the purpose was to make them play together in one single room. So the first Rayman, the first one, the 20 years old Rayman, still the favorite of the franchise, and it's top seller. And we believe that has a lot to do with the accessibility of the 2D graphics and gameplay. That means more familiarity for everyone, and also the promise of a old classic gameplay that platformers fan adores. So we tried to keep the magic and the fantasy of the first Rayman, and we mix it with the HD quality and the new technology that we can access with the new tools that we create to offer a more contemporary vision of this universe to all of you. So the gamers, non-gamers, everybody. At the beginning, the team was focused on inventing a more efficient, flexible, and creative approach to build 2D games. So we started to develop the UbiArt framework. And at the beginning, it was an idea of Michel Ancel. And it begins with a small team of artists and engineers. They work together to create all those tools. So it's designed to allow a small creative team to produce high-quality graphics and gameplay rapidly and efficiently. With it, you are able to animate a large style of animation, like cut-out paper, drawing, paintings. Can I say modeling past? Yeah, modeling past? Is it?
Clay?
Yeah, clay. Okay. Thank you. Sorry, I'm French. So it's built to fit with the needs of the artist in 2D. On Rayman Origins and Rayman Legends, we wanted to fit perfectly with the vision of the artists. So we developed a tool that allows us to put directly the drawing of the artist, the concept art, into the game. So we don't lose the essence of the primary art concept, and we keep the energy on the artistic part to stay focused on the creation. But as we modified the classic pipe to fit with all 2D concerns, we saved lots of time and energy to produce a great variety of universe, great variety of assets, to build backgrounds, platforms, create different worlds, life elements, characters that give to the game its own personality. So, to be more clear, I'm going to show you a small video about the artistic pipeline or the artists work with those tools.
Je suis Jean-Christophe Alessandri, je suis directeur artistique sur Rayman Legends. La création graphique sur Rayman Legends commence par un travail préparatoire, souvent à base de croquis, de concept art. Ensuite, on passe par une étape de validation auprès du directeur créatif et des différents responsables des autres corps de métier, pour ensuite arriver à une phase de prototypage, notamment sur le framework. Et on travaille de façon très organique et le framework nous permet ça, c'est-à-dire qu'il nous permet d'être très souple, de faire plusieurs itérations à partir d'un design. Ce qui est intéressant aussi avec le framework, c'est que c'est le concept art en fait qu'on va mettre dans le jeu au final. On n'est pas dans une lourdeur dans le pipeline de production, mais au contraire, on est dans une logique très réactive qui nous permet vraiment de tester au maximum toutes les idées qui peuvent fuser dans une équipe, entre les animations, le level art, le level design, le game design, les concept artistes. Toutes ces personnes peuvent vraiment créer dans le même sens.
I like to take a look at the concept art that's made for the worlds, for the game, from the artists themselves before actually building something in the level, because I think when I make something for the game, I want it to be visually coherent with the actual overall vision for the final product. And so even if I'm making something that's purely gameplay oriented, I like to know that it's going to fit with the direction that the artists have for the final product. And also what I end up doing when I'm looking at the concept art is I have a tendency to be inspired by even small things like a fallen tree that the player's walking through in the picture, and it makes me want to use that kind of geometry in my level, so then I do that, and sometimes it leads to the creation of interesting gameplay elements or terrain properties that we wouldn't normally have. And so I like to be inspired by the art before actually proceeding in my area of expertise, but I also like to make sure that my work is just consistent with the overall vision.
What's interesting is that we have template freeze, so that have no graphical content, just basic mockup. So we can build level using this mockup freeze. They already have the constraint for visual things, but by themselves they don't have a particular visual, so they can be used in any circumstance. But they already have the constraint for the collision and everything, so we don't build things like we want. We already have constraint to work with, and we already know that when the artist will find a visual for the freeze and a visual for every element, it will fit with the collision we put. So we'll not have to work a lot on top of that. When the level is built, when the gameplay element, the situation are done, we'll make a new review with the artist. We'll say what intention we have, what was the idea of the level, and with that they will be able to build a whole landscape easily. Normally they don't have to touch our work, we don't have to add new constraints to their work. And so they can build the level on top of that, graphically speaking.
On a élaboré des petits outils maison, et entre autres l'Atlas Editor, qui permet aux artistes de rassembler plein d'éléments graphiques dans une seule texture et de venir découper directement les mèches en les dessinant à la main en 2D et de pouvoir les réappliquer dans le jeu et faire en sorte qu'on optimise un maximum. Ça permet aussi de rajouter du volume et d'animer ces objets-là avec une interface un peu simplifiée qui permet d'aller très vite.
So I have a lot of fun with trying to bring a lot of life and things happening on screen, lots of wow moments, and I think that the tools that we have, but also the concept and the game and the gameplay mechanics really mesh well together with this kind of philosophy of creating levels that are alive with lots of things happening, and it makes for some very exciting results, and it's always fun to see people playing these levels and reacting to such animated worlds, and just the fact that they enjoy them so much when stuff surprises them, you know. It's not predictable, it's just wow and amazing, and they always want to come back and experience something new, so it's really cool for me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So now let's approach the character design and how it influences the style of animation, and how we made the transition between Rayman 2, The Great Escape, Rayman 3, Hoodlum Havoc, and the new Rayman in 2D. Michel Ancel is a fan of Johann Sfar, Jean-Louis Marco, that kind of French book style. So we decided to adapt the character design from a comic book named Roscoe le Rouge. At the beginning of the project, we didn't know what the animation tool was capable of. But we knew that we wanted, for the animation, something easy to do, a simple process, something cool to look at, something punchy, and not just a simple cut-outed animation. And we asked the engineer to implement scale, stretch, and squash. Then the character design made a step into US cartoon style. To make the animation more efficient, give more opportunity to optimize action line with a strong and clear posing and more snappy timing. And we wanted the game looks to look like an animated cartoon. That means sophisticated Pantary style for the background, celluloid look for the characters, more extreme poses, and to have some wacky situation too. Okay, it's clear that the style of the character design impact the style of the animation. The more your design is realistic, and the more you need drawings to make the animation subtle, and the more it's difficult to step to reality. That process could be long, especially for cut-out animation. But more the design is stylized, graphic, or cartoony, and more it will be easy to adapt the animation to cut-out style. And our reference are Tex Avery, Chuck Jones, and Bob Clampett, of course, but we were more influenced by some more recent cartoons, like Cats Don't Dance or Ren and Snippy. And cartoon snappy style is very fun to draw and to animate too, but it's very practical for our kind of game. Now let's talk about the pipeline of creation. In order to create a strong character design, there is one very important rule. Form follows function. That means the player got to identify the nature, the dangerousness of an enemy, the function of a gameplay element in one single look. That's got to help him to stay reactive and to keep the flow. That means we got constraints that we got to take care when we are designing gameplay elements, an enemy, or any characters. That constraints are given, of course, by the game design, the level design, or the environment. An example about the design of a gameplay element in a food world. The constraint for design a gameplay element were that it took place in a kitchen, where it was a very environment. The gameplay constraint included the fact that the gameplay element threw dangerous things. It was 2 meters high, need to move right and left, and the playable character died if he touched it. So, okay, let's find some ideas, like the dangerous things could be a fireball. But what kind of enemy, for example, could throw a fireball? Could be a dragon. And, but a dragon in the kitchen, yes, why not? But if we dress him with a chef's hat, an apron, he's gonna look like a cook. And he needs a weapon for the near attack, so no problem, he's gonna have a fork, and it's done. And that's the easy part in Rayman. That's an easy, crazy world. Almost everything is allowed, you know. So now the character designer can start to work. He makes some sketches. One is approved, and on that stage of process, the character stays. The character stays a rough sketch. It could be colored. Or stay in black and white, or very simple color. After that, different parts of his body are split apart. The animator makes the setup. At the same time, the technical director makes the animation tree. Then the first animation are made with a rough asset. And the gameplay programmer use it to improve artificial intelligence. The timing to test his prototype, that's the same for the LD, the level designer. He can test his map with a rough asset, the same. And after some iteration, when the map is approved, we can clean the character up. The character designer make Ctrl S on Photoshop. We replace the rough asset by the clean one directly on the TGA texture. No need to change the name on any asset or animation. No need to modify the setup. The new clean character works in the game directly. To illustrate the pipeline process, let's take another example with a playable character, the Tinsy. We had already created the animation for Rayman and Globox, and we wanted to reuse the animation tree to create the Tinsy. I said before, when we are designing a character, the way in which it will be animated is always kept in mind. We must be able to separate each part of the body of the character, for example, a mouse, legs, body, etc.
So, this method has an impact on how the character is designed, for sure. A well-designed character means a minimum of number of assets, like you can see there, for a maximum of amount of animations. With the Tinsy, with only one texture, we created like 350 animations.
about. Yeah.
And on Rayman Origins, the animator in charge of this character made about 250 animations in like 2 weeks. So it's really fast to produce animations. And he was very smart about the way that he used the few elements that he's got. He reused elements like different arms or or the nose to be if you want to take the Tinsy and put it like in a front view, he just deformed the nose to pretend that it's a new asset, but it's not. So we've got few examples in this video. So it's only done with one square texture and with no new assets. So, thanks for him.
Thanks for them. Thanks for them.
So it's an important part of the work of the animators. You know, we are not God creating life. We are kind of cheater, but a nice cheater, like a magician, something like that. And if we succeed to do great animation, it's like you take part into the magic that we create. So it's cool. And to work on characterization, it's probably the funniest part between us.
Right.
Him as character designer, me as an animator, we had to work very close together. And it's really, really cool, and it's very good for the game too.
One thing make our production very efficient, especially at the beginning when the team was very, very small. Is a multi-talented profile of the collaborators and the animators. To make the ideal crew, we thought it should be smart to recruit animators from French animation school. In fact, in school they learn a lot of different schools. They learn traditional animation, 3D, and they learn to use a lot of different software. So our animators are very multi-talented. That's right. Most of them are character designer too. They can cut out a character, make the setup. Some are also storyboard artists, color artists. That means we have a complete small crew able to work on gameplay animation, make a cutscene from the concept to the final. That's very efficient and practicable. And to illustrate, we have a video.
The last one, but the animators. Let's see that.
Je suis Eric Ververde, je suis animateur sur Rayman Origins et Rayman Legend. Sur Rayman Origins, j'étais responsable de l'animation de Globox, du Tinsy et des Livingstone. J'ai été responsable de l'animation des Toads et des Jacouilles sur Rayman Legend. Je m'inspire des gens que je rencontre, que je côtoie, de dessins animés que je regarde. Par exemple pour Globox, j'essaie de partir dans des trips un peu Droopy, Barney, des Simpsons, toutes ces choses-là, le côté un petit peu endormi mais cool en même temps, un peu nonchalant. Il y avait déjà un Globox qui avait été fait sur le Rayman 3D, donc du coup il fallait refaire un Globox un peu farfelu. Je vais faire un truc un petit peu différent du Globox, le foufou habituel, tout en train de déconner, de gesticuler dans tous les sens. Faire un truc un peu plus groovy, on va dire, entre guillemets. Donc c'était intéressant parce qu'il fallait refaire un travail sur un perso qui existe déjà et qu'on a beaucoup vu. On essaie de voir où est-ce qu'on peut caser, entre guillemets, du fun, par exemple, sur des trucs du type un enchaînement marche, saut, attaque. Comme l'espace est très réduit pour faire une anime, c'est pas là où on va pouvoir le plus, entre guillemets, s'exprimer. Donc tu essaies de faire apparaître une pose bien distincte, un peu farfelue. Et du coup, bon, le fun, on va essayer de le mettre là. Et sinon, vraiment, pour se lâcher, des poses type wait ou stand, où justement on a une plage de temps quasi, enfin pas illimitée, mais beaucoup plus large. Là, du coup, on peut s'exprimer et puis faire des trucs un peu foufou. Les inters sont gérés par redesigning, donc du coup, t'as juste au final à poser tes poses clés. T'as juste à imposer un rythme, mettre des beaux posings, entre guillemets, et puis voilà, la machine elle fait le reste.
L'idée de Genanime à la base émane de Michel. Tout au long de la création de l'outil, tout au long de son développement, on a essayé de vraiment le garder simple et intuitif pour pouvoir itérer rapidement, facilement. Un des principaux avantages qu'offre Genanime, c'est qu'il permet qu'il n'y ait pas d'intermédiaire entre le dessin et l'animation. Il n'y a pas d'interprétation entre les deux, donc l'animateur va directement animer les dessins du concept artiste. Ça permet donc d'être très fidèle au concept original.
We take a picture and we extract from it a mesh, but it's a mesh that we can deform to make the movement. So we can take an arm and we put points on it, and after very easily we can deform, we move really the picture to create the animations. Every time an animator needs a special feature, we discuss it with our DT.
Mon travail avec Usri consiste à évaluer les améliorations qui pourraient être faites afin de faciliter le travail des animateurs ou d'optimiser les performances des personnages dans le jeu.
Ça te permet d'avoir directement ce que tu recherches dans un soft, et c'est cool.
Thank you. Thank you.
So we jump into the technical part of this presentation. What is Genanime? Genanime is the Ubisoft framework animation tool. It's a customizable tool created at Ubisoft Montpellier for Rayman Origins, and we reuse and upgrade it for Rayman Legends. It's done principally by Philippe Vimon and Yousri Salas. It's two awesome tool programmers that they work very close to us, so it's really cool. If we need to improve some tools as an animator, we just had to ask them to improve one particular tool, and they just do it, and in like 1 week we've got the new tool at our disposition. So it's made, as all the technology, it's made to fit with those specific needs in 2D. So we can put directly, as we've seen before, the drawing of the artist, and here is the drawing of the character artist into the animation software. So we can keep the essence of the drawing, and there is no long skinning or rigging to do, and we save a lot of time to work on the characterization of the characters, and this add a lot of fun into the game. It's an intuitive to use tool. The animator, like me, I can quickly transform any drawings to an animated character. I can do my own actors setup. I can upgrade it with new drawings. If I start an animation and I need some new assets, I just have to ask to Christophe to draw them, and then he sends it to me, and I can implement that into my actual animation, into my actual setup, with no long time, no long technical stuff to manage. It's really easy to use. The animation are done faster, so we can produce many original characters in a very tiny time of production. And that's why Rayman is a rich and immersive 2D platformer with a lot of funny characters. It's a simple-to-use tool, but it's powerful. We have additive animation for the gameplay needs. We have inverse kinematics to facilitate the animator's work. We've got polyline collision to fit with the gameplay collision, with the punch, the hit, and all that stuff. We can add event on the timeline to trigger FX, sounds, to separate the animation between transition and loop to help the gameplay programmer. and the optimization is while thinking too. We can pack texture. When you create a character, you have several different textures, different assets, different arms, different legs, different bodies, and we create like 1, 2, 3, a lot of textures, and we have a tool that just bring all the assets in the textures and bring them into one single texture with the space optimized. So it's really cool. We don't have to take care really about that at the first time when we doing animations. We just take care of that later, and the optimization is really good, and that allows us to put a lot of assets into the game because we've got the space to do it. We can also reuse the animation of a character by changing his skinning. It's great. So I can make, if I want, a different look of Rayman, or some bosses that we've made. They have a gabarit. They have a shape, and I can just talk too much about that because it's not really allowed. You know, Rayman Legends is not out, so you'll see when you'll buy it. It's okay.
And the easiness to use GenAnim means that we can produce fast and a lot. And to make move things, it's a better way to make it alive and rich. And of course, we have characters like playable, enemies, bosses, fairies, different costumes, like you said, or skins for the same characters. For example, the fairies on Rayman Origin was one skeleton and in different costume. We can animate platforms, breakables, groups, backgrounds, UI and interface, crowds, plant, mechanics with a different system of animation. We use GenAnim for gameplay animation and for cutscene in-game videos. Everything it needs to be animated.
So we're gonna see. I'm just gonna move up. So we're gonna see a few examples of how we bring life into the Rayman's world really easily, and it's a low-cost character that we call life elements that we can put on the foreground or on the background to bring life to the game. So here we work with a simplified version of our tool. We don't keep the information of the bones. We only keep the information of the images, the drawing, and so we can make a lot of those things. We can put them into a level, and we still at 60 frames per second. It's great. Then we can animate FX too, and this technique is really different, kind of. It's just like a sprite animation, but we put it in GenAnim so we can add deformation to that sprite animation, and with that one single texture, it looks like a drawing cartoon.
Old-fashioned style.
Yeah, old-fashioned style. That's it. So, now it's time for the demonstration. I'm gonna work a bit on on Genanime, and we're gonna see how it works together. So I got to just get out of here. So we prepare a character. Christophe draws this small character. Look like a testicle a bit, but it's okay. I'm gonna animate it. Fine.
We can make anything alive in Rayman Origin, even a testicle.
So I'm gonna do like if I was in my workspace. So I'm maybe gonna skip some parts because we are a bit late, and, but I'm gonna try to do an animation really quickly. So first, when you open Genanime, you've got nothing inside of it. Christophe sends me the drawings, and then I cut it out in few parts, and I just had to drag and drop the TGA textures that I created to start the setup of the character. So I was talking about cheating. Obviously, I'm gonna cheat here. I'm just gonna show you how we create easily a bone that we can rename. And this bone is not ever attached to that to the visual, so I had to create a mesh. That's it. So I create mesh around each element. I create bones to control them. And here I've got some templates. I'm gonna create one template per element. And cheating, okay. And we just do all the elements like that. You've got here the template names that we can rename to find ourselves easily in the animation process. And then with those bones, I'm gonna copy them and put that into the skeleton edition to connect the different parts of the body. Like, okay, the arms to the body, the mouth to the body, to the testicle. So I'm gonna copy that. It's really not fast. It's really not. It's easy to do the setup, and I've done it yesterday night, and it takes me like half an hour to just doing the setup and then creating the one animation. But I think we're gonna have no time if you want to have some questions to ask at the end. So stop speaking and start working. Okay, so I copied the bone of the body. There is no visual attached because it's the we are in the edition mode. The mouth is there. Can attach them with that. Can see that with the blue line. They are connected. I'm going to do that for all the bones. It's going to be more faster. a bit scary to animate just in front of you. Get some encouragement. Oh, thank you. Okay. There exist. It's a kind of old version of Genanim, so there is not really an interface or something like that. Oh, okay. Got to mouth. Just hit one. Okay, so the arms are left. Okay, this way. So all I'm doing is just connect the different parts of the bodies together. So now when I move the body bones, all the things come with it. And I connect them to the root. Okay, now I have my bones done with their own influences. Now I can start to animate something. Woo, my favorite part. So I'm just gonna call the visual on the bones. So I call the templates. Okay, eyes. I forgot the eyes. Can I sing a song? Yeah, da, 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 da. Cool. So I'm gonna bring all these elements in the animation mode. Okay, so it looks like that for now. And I need to refer it to the drawings of Christophe to see how I'm gonna mix them together. So I can control the Z function to put an element in front or in the back. So now the mouth is in the front, the eyes in the front. Okay. I'm just gonna stay front. Yeah, I take the same visual for the right arm and the left arm, and I'm gonna just symmetrize them to that brings some less space in the database. The same thing for the foot, for the feet. Okay. Okay. And is it okay for you?
Yeah.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, I approve it.
Looks we've got the pair. Right. So now all I had to do is just put, let's make a jump, okay? Jump. Okay. So I can deform the scale in different axes, like X, Y, and it's still 10 minutes, so I had to do that really fast. Okay. So I'm gonna scale axes in X and Y with the deformation to to do something like that. Yeah, I use a special thing that allows me to deform all in the same time. That makes me gonna win sometimes with that. Okay. Boom, boom. That's my keyframe. It's not done ever, but thank you. That adds up. Okay. My boss look at me when I work, and I'm not sure I appreciate that.
That's pressure.
Maybe I'm gonna be fired at the end of this presentation, so I have to do the best that I can. Okay. So I can copy paste different keys. Yeah, it's not going to be a subtle animation, but it's just going to show you the power of the tool. Okay. So I can play, but it's going to be really fast. So I can reduce the speed just to see if it works. Seems pretty good for a 2-minute animation. And then I'm gonna do the transition. So I insert frames between the keyframes. Okay.
Ou pas en mettre du tout.
Hein?
Ou pas mettre de transition du tout.
Yeah. Almost done. Okay. Wing, wing. Got no overlap here, but it's a start. It's a start. We're not gonna develop that so much because maybe you've got some questions, and I want to answer that if I can. So, okay, I'm gonna just do a few resume. A few summary about what we've said in that conference. So, if I can give you advice, just communicate a lot with your team members and leave your comfort zone to be more efficient. It's very cool. For my part, I work a lot with the gameplay programmers, and it helps to put a lot of life into the game because they've got the conscience of what I need, and I've got the conscience of what they need. If you reinvent an iconic character, be sure to remember where he comes from and where you want him to go. Use tools that allow you to fit the best with your vision of your game. And if you want to create any characters, just remember that forms follow functions in the video game. It's really, really important to not losing the player. And if you want to do a good characterization, keep your silhouette very recognizable. Don't lose the fact that it had to stay legible in the game space. And focus on strong posings. That's it. So, thank you for coming. It's the end of our presentation. Woo!
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Boing, boing, boing. So if you have any questions, I need someone to translate because my English is not so fluent, as you can see. I call Gabrielle Schrager. She's the writer on Rayman Origins, actually. So big applause for her. Thank you, Gabriel.
And just try and help these guys if you have any questions. So please ask away and I'll translate.
Yep.
Hey, first of all, big fan. Well done. It was an amazing job. So, but then also you have this amazing game on console, and you moved to the amazing game on iOS. Can you talk a little bit about the iOS game? Was it the same team? Did you guys use the same engine at all? When you made the iPad, iPhone game.
Il se demande si on a utilisé les mêmes outils pour faire sur tous les iOS pour le portage en fait.
D'accord.
Est-ce que c'est les mêmes outils en gros pour
Yes, exactly the same tools.
Exactly the same
engine,
tools?
yeah, same tools. Yeah.
Same pipeline, same tools.
Not on the tablet.
All right.
Yeah, it's another engine, but for all the console for PC, for the Vita too. I think that's the same engine and the same tools. Yeah.
And from art directing the work on the iOS game, the tablet game, Jungle Run, were you art directing it or was it outsourced at all?
Oui, il se demande si tu as été le directeur artistique animation sur la version mobile. Sur,
No,
Jungle.
no, it's another team for the mobile.
It's another team, but they were using all the assets, obviously, that were created for
They reuse the assets that we create on Rayman Origins also. So they keep a lot of the same animations.
Fantastic. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Welcome.
Somebody else?
Don't be shy.
Not shy, just short. So I don't have a question. I gotta run, but I just want to say you guys are like Rayman is the reason I'm in the industry. I've hopped around to a lot of really stylized studios, so keep doing this rad stuff. This latest game is amazing. You guys are fantastic, so thanks for inspiring a veteran.
Continue.
That was a really easy question.
Thank you. That was not really a question, but thank you. So you.
Est-ce que vous aviez aussi des artistes techniques pour vous aider à faire les effets de particules, les effets spéciaux, ou c'était tout fait en 2D?
The question, I should translate into English, is
sorry.
is whether or not we have particular tools to create the special effects in the animation, or whether it's the same tools as we're using for all the other animations?
If all the effects and the particle was all draw, or if someone did a specific job on that using other tools or technical artists.
Yes, thank you for translating for yourself.
We have on Rayman Origin we have tools for the FX, of course, but we had two FX artists. One come from the traditional animation, and the other is more technical and use procedural, more specific for procedural stuff. And,
for the particles?
Yeah, particles and stuff like that, yeah.
But they were all hand-drawn, are they not? Ils ont été tous dessinés.
Yes,
They're all hand-drawn.
Okay. Go ahead.
Hi. Thanks for coming. Great talk. That Gen Anim tool looks really amazing. I was wondering if you guys had any plans to distribute or sell the tool to other companies.
I was sure you were asking that question. So the question is if we're going to sell the tool or share the tool. I think we want to share the tool, but I'm not sure about the position of Ubisoft at that point. So it's over, okay? But it could be great to share that tool. We had to do a small modification to make it a lot more user-friendly. But it could be great, but I'm gonna ask my bosses and post something on the Facebook page of Rayman or something like that to answer your questions, because I really don't know what are their strategy on
for
this.
the moment. Yeah.
Great. Thank you very much.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Oh. Thanks a lot to you guys. Thank you.
Sorry, I just found out that we actually have nothing in here next session, so if you wanted to QA a few more questions, you're more than welcome to.
Cool. More questions? Additional time. I can stay 1 hour longer then. Go. Let's do it.
Hi, I was just curious how you handled the lighting on the characters, because it seems to bend and not just wash over the flat 2D. So how did you handle that?
Il pose la question comment tu as géré l'éclairage sur les personnages, parce que est-ce que c'était de la 2D, la 3D Si jamais tu veux répondre en français, je traduis.
On Rayman Origin, il n'y a pas d'éclairage dynamique. C'est comme un dessin animé. C'est dessiné directement sur le personnage.
It's just like traditional cartoon lighting.
Yeah.
Hi, yeah, I was wondering, as an animator, was there like a learning curve to using the actual like polygons yourself? Like, does that make sense?
Did you say a learning curve? I'm sorry.
Yeah, to defining the polygons when animating, as opposed to it just being a square.
Ah, est-ce qu'il y a une courbe
pour déformer?
Oui, ou est-ce que c'est un carré?
No, it's not just a square. I didn't show you that because I've got no time, but you can deform the mesh to adapt it to the shape of the assets. And when you do an articulation too, as you can see, as you have seen in the video of the animators, you can deplace. You can move the points to be close to the shape of the arm. And you can also move those points, like to make a pliure.
A fold, in order to create a fold.
If you want to create a fold more stronger or more smooth, you can modify that too. That answer your question? Yep. Good.
Okay.
Thank you. Oh, okay. Go ahead.
How long did it take you to develop the tool? All from creating the animation system and developing the 2D background, layering.
Il se demande combien de temps on a mis pour développer l'outil Genanime.
Okay. So actually, we work on the development of Genanime in the same time than the development of the game. So. We've got very basic tools at the beginning, and we improve them
little by little, over time.
Little by little, exactly, all along the production of the game.
And we are continuing to develop it.
Yeah.
So when did it become functional? Was it a 2-month window, a 3-month window?
En fait, à partir du moment où les ingés, ils ont vraiment livré le truc, combien de temps ils ont mis de la recherche, la R&D, c'était pas très long. 6 mois?
Ouais, peut-être 6 mois maxi.
It was very, very quick. And Michel worked with a very small team of artists and engineers to do that, and it took about 6 months to get it up and running, basically.
Awesome. Thank you. Beautiful stuff.
Cool. Hey. A lot of questions. There's questions everywhere. Go ahead.
I just wanted to compliment you on how intuitive the Genanim tool seemed, and also you showed a video with the level editor appearing to be just as intuitive as the Genanim tool. Is it all part of Genanim, and maybe if Ubisoft sells it, will the level editor and how intuitive that looks be packaged with it? That'd be awesome.
Oui, donc en fait, l'éditeur de niveau, c'est pas Genanim, mais il fait partie du package de framework.
Oui, c'est un autre tool.
Oui, c'est ça.
Yeah, framework. It's part of Genanim is part of the framework engine, so it's included in the package. And yes, the level design tools are incredibly intuitive, and the level designers love to work with them. So yes, easy tools.
Hi, it's a question about art direction. Can I ask it? It's not about animation. I was wondering if you had an artist that unify all the style of the different levels, since all are painted, or if each artist managed to keep the style consistent through the game. La question c'est est-ce que vous avez un artiste qui est chargé en fait d'unifier le style tout au long des différents niveaux.
Ça tu traduiras après.
Oui, réponds en français, après je traduis.
C'est comme dans beaucoup de prod, hein, c'est-à-dire que Michel Ancel, sur Rayman Origins, il est directeur artistique, et chaque concept artiste et chaque level artiste, il est capable de toute façon de travailler sur n'importe quel niveau, n'importe quel monde.
Yeah, so we're saying Michel Ancel, as the artistic director of the project, obviously does the make sure that there's the coherency throughout the world. And every one of our artists are capable of working on any of the levels and adapting their style to whatever his creative and artistic vision is.
Alors après, il y a certains artistes qui sont plus à l'aise avec comment dire, avec l'organique, d'autres plus avec tout ce qui est métal, mécanique, etc. Quoi. Donc on les adapte comme ça. Mais
yes, we said of course artists have sometimes they work more easily with organic material, with life. Living organisms, and others have a preference for working with more metallic and structured architectural elements, but so they can choose also which universe works the best for them.
Okay. Well, obviously, great team and great games. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi. This is also about the artistic direction of the levels, actually. So one thing that struck me was that the levels of Rayman Origins were really imaginative, and they really popped in a way. So I was curious about how did you go about creating the particular style of each level? Was it like somebody wrote a story for it, or was it up to the imagination?
You can answer that question.
Yeah, that's part of the creative process of working with Michel, who will come in every day with a great story to tell about, which are all sort of micro stories. So little stories of what happens in the food world, and then together the team bounces off his ideas and makes character designs and backgrounds and then iterate every day. Every day there's new stuff that pops, that appears and disappears depending on what pops into his brain and how much the rest of the team embraces each of the levels. So that's why there's so many unbelievable variety, like 70 levels with I don't know how many completely different environments. Yeah, and that's part of the fun, and that's what makes Rayman. And it's because we're in this completely iterative process constantly that so much stuff, so much creativity just goes out. And probably as much as you guys have seen on screen also gets lost in the process because we can't keep everything. Oh, that's it. Okay.
Okay. Go to lunch now. It's better. If you've got any questions, we're gonna stay outside a bit. Thanks to you. You've been great.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you for coming.